Hey, what is up? My name is Rubidium. Today we're looking at this camera, the Canon Xc10. It's small, it has a lens, it has a body, it has a handle, and the lens doesn't come off. So a couple of months ago, I was looking to shoot a long form sort of demonstration video in New York City, and the C200 was going to be my A camera. And then I was looking around for a B camera. I thought of using my 5D Mark III, but it doesn't shoot C-Log. But most importantly, it isn't 4K, so I couldn't leave the frame wide and then crop in and post when I wanted a tighter shot. I would have had to sit there zooming in, zooming out the entire time. I looked at the 1DX and 1DC sort of cameras, the DSLR form-factored cinema cameras that do shoot 4K, but their 4K is cropped in. They also have limits on the amount of video and time you can record. Plus, they're really expensive. They're almost the price of the C200. That brought me to these little cameras. There's the Xc10, which is this one, and there's the Xc15, which is a newer version. It has the same chip. It has a lot of the same controls. It has two important differences. One is a waveform monitor on the screen, and the other one is a little box that sits on the cold shoe mount here and gives you XLR audio inputs. I wasn't using audio, and I was going to expose off the C200, so didn't need the waveform that particular time. So I got the Xc10. It is a really nifty little camera. It fits in your hand. It has this rotating side grip, very similar to the C version. It has this articulating touchscreen LCD. Interestingly, it comes with the 35mm equivalent of a 24 to 240 millimeter lens. That's set to the camera. It's not interchangeable lens. It has a very small chip in it. And these are 35 equivalents. It's actually something like a 10mm to a 60mm lens. It takes LP6s, just like the stills camera 5D Mark III. It shoots 4K, shoots 2K to SD cards, but shoots 4K to CFast cards, same as the C200 does for its RAW, which is kind of interesting. Has internal mic, has face chasing autofocus that you can turn on and off. It has mic in, it has HDMI out, it has DC in, headphone jack. For what this camera was new, is like $2,000. It packs a lot of punch. I was really curious to get it and to test it and to see if it did what I wanted it to do. So first, the advantages. The advantages are it's very small, it's very light, it shoots a long time for what you have. It shoots at very good quality in Canon's proprietary wrapper format. I think it's 300 megabits per second. Pretty much a made-to-measure B camera for the C series. If you have a C100, C300, C200, you need that second angle. You need that top-down shot. Bolt this right to the top of a C stand to have a top-down product shot like I've used before here. You know, just a safety camera so that if for some crazy reason you run out of batteries or the card jams or something goes terribly wrong with your A camera, that you have a second camera with you at all times to get that shot if you need it. This is a pretty good solution. You have an image stabilizer. You actually have 3 stops of ND in here. I'm not quite sure how that works. I guess there's a tiny little sunglasses that drops down in front of the sensor, which came in really handy when I was shooting outside and wanted to keep the aperture low. Speaking of aperture, this is not a fixed f-stop lens. It goes from 2.8 when it's the widest, all the way to 5.6 when it's the closest or the longest. So you are going to see, as you zoom in, you are going to see, if you're wide open, the image grow darker. That's not ideal. That's probably one of the downsides to this. Another downside is the CFast card aspect. If you want to shoot for a couple of hours on this, you're going to go out. You're going to spend $2,000 on a camera, and then go out and spend almost another $1,000 on 256 gig CFast cards. I guess the form factor is so small that they weren't able to put in enough processing power to bring the size of the files down and put it onto the SD card. So we're stuck with CFast cards, but if you have them, like I have them for the C200 anyway, it's not that big a deal. I found it to be a perfect gimbal camera because it has a screen built in. It's small, it's light, it's pretty wide at 24mm. It's you know, perfect gimbal sort of size. If you could take this off, that'd be great, but it's what gives the power to the camera. So it is a little bit left weighted. You can see here that the center of gravity is sort of not right over the lens, but a little bit this way. I tried it on the tilde gravity and it was phenomenal actually. You could, you know, it really was able to manipulate it with no trouble at all and get very, very smooth motion in 4K C-Log that you can cut straight into your videos. Matching this with the C200 wasn't as easy as I first thought it would be. You do need to do a little bit more finicking in post to get the colors to match. It isn't a case of drag and drop, even if you're using C-Log or C-Log 2 like I am on the C200 and C-Log on this. They're just a little bit different. They're different chips. It's much closer than trying to match the 5D Mark III non-C-Log, you know, Rec 709 color space to a C-Log color space on the C200. That's my sum up of the Canon Xc10. Hope you dug it. There will be, I believe, an Xc20 coming out. There's also a patent that people have found on the internet for a removable lens version of this. I'd be kind of tempted to get that one. Except for the fact that you're then now spending thousands of dollars of lenses on your B camera, whereas, you know, this lens it's a Canon lens. It looks good. It works pretty well. I think you can overthink B camera and get carried away. It's best when you just keep it simple, use it for a few shots. It's a million times better than a GoPro or an iPhone shot. Fits much better into my workflow, and yeah, happy with it. Thanks Canon for the lend of the camera. That's my review of the Canon Xc10. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.